What is up, yugioh coming at you here with another deck profile for one of my, not favorite decks, but I think it's a very cool deck, cool archetype, and that is Fluffal slash Frighters. They're a neat little thing, and the Japanese name for them is Death Toy, that's why the name's there, but they decided that's a little too edgy for here in the TCG in America. So let's get right into it. First is Fluffal Dog, which I run at 3. When you play Fluffal Dog, normal or special from hand, you add one Edge Imp Saber or one Fluffal monster from your deck to your hand except Fluffal Dog. Reason this is so important is because in order you need for all these fusions, with the exception of 2, you need to have Edge Imp Sabers. And Edge Imp Saber makes or breaks your deck. 3 running him at a 3 of is like a necessity. Because in order to make Bear and Wolf 2 of your stronger cards, you have to have an Edge Imp Saber. Next up is Fluffal Bear. Fluffal Bear, you can send it from your hand to the graveyard to set one toy vendor from your deck into your spell trap card, and you contribute it to target one polymerization in your graveyard and add it to your hand. You can only use one effect of Fluffal Bear once per turn. Him searching out the toy vendors is important. Also, he's necessary to make Fright for Bear. Fright for Bear has to have Fluffal Bear. The reason toy vendor is so important is it's essentially how you plus in the deck. It's how you set up a lot of your plays. It's how you gain a card advantage. Next is Fluffal Owl. When it's normal or special summon, add one polymerization from deck to hand, and you can pay 500 life points to fusion summon one Fright for fusion monster from your extra deck, using monsters from your hand or your side of the field as fusion materials. You can only use this effect once per turn. Once again, more polymerizations. Since it is a fusion deck, the more polymerizations the better. Also just helps with deck thinning in general. Next up is Fluffal Sheep. Fluffal Sheep, you can special summon it from hand and return one other Fluffal monster on the field to your hand, and special summon an Edge Imp from hand to grave. This is a great way if these get sent to grave to get them back, so that way you can keep fusion summoning and keep making your Fright for monsters. Also, another thing is all these Fluffals, their card art is just adorable. Like Bear, look at that face. He's he's chill. And Dog looks adorable too. They all have those little chibi wings. Next up is Edge Imp Frightful Lloyd. That name's so fucking hard to say. It's always treated as a Fright for card, and you can target one Fright for fusion monster you control in your graveyard, and this card's attack and defense become the original attack and defense of that monster till end of the turn. You only use this effect once per turn. The reason I run it as a 2 of is because Fright for Chimera requires 3 Fright for monsters. So if you have this and one of the fusions on your board, you can make Chimera, and Chimera currently is probably the strongest deck or strongest card for Fright for fusions. Next up is Edge Imp Chain. When it declares an attack, you can add an Edge Imp Chain from your deck to your hand. If it's sent from the hand or field to the graveyard, add one Fright for card from your deck to your hand. You can only use this Edge Imp chain effect once per turn. So you use that to get out Fright for Fusion, which is the Miracle Fusion for Fluffals, where you banish to get the stuff out. He works very, very well with Toy Vendor, because Toy Vendor requires you pitch a card. So you pitch Chain, grab a Fright for Fusion, and go from there. 3 Edge Imp Sabres, or Sabers, but I like Sabres. If this card in your graveyard, you can place one card from your hand on top of the deck. Special summon this card from the graveyard in defense position. You can only use this effect of Edge Imp Sabres once per turn. Very nice thing. This combo is super well with Toy Vendor. I keep referencing Toy Vendor, so let's take a quick look at it. You can discard a card, draw one card, reveal it. If it is a Fluffal monster, special summon one monster from your hand. Otherwise, discard it. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can add one Fluffal or Edge Imp Sabres from your deck to your hand. The reason this is so important is the fact that, so let's say you have Dog, let's say you have dog and bear in hand. You can Edge Imp Sabers to put Edge Imp Sabers on the field, or and you already normaled for the turn. You use Edge Imp Sabers effect to special summon him on the field, and you put dog on the top of the deck and you pitch bear. Then you use Toy Vendor effect to draw into the dog, and that allows you to special summon. So you get the dog effect, your bear's in there, you have that on the field. You can then go get an owl or get a sheep, so you can get a polymerization, and then just play the game out from there. It's a really good combo, and it's the main way the deck is able to set up really fast. Next up is Edge Imp Saw. Edge Imp Saw, if it is normal summon, you can send one Fluffal monster from your hand to the graveyard, draw 2 cards, then place 1 card from your hand on either the top or bottom of the deck. You can only use this effect of Edge Imp Saw once per turn. The effect's not too great. The main reason you want it is for making Fright for Leo. It's the only destruction the deck has at the moment, because at the time of recording this, Fright for Tiger is not out yet. Once Tiger comes out, the deck's going to be a hell of a lot stronger. 3 polys, 2 upstarts, you know how much I love me some upstarts, 2 MSTs, 2 Toy Vendors, 2 Fright for Fusion, which, as I said before, is essentially just your Miracle Fusion. 2 Fright for Factory. Basically, that allows you to banish Polymerization or Fright for Fusion to Fusion summon. You would banish your Poly or your Fright for Fusion, and Fright for Factory will allow you to use itself as a Poly. It's a good way of just always being able to make Fright Furs. Next up is 2 Fluffal Crane. Fluffal Crane's nice if you didn't get a fusion out and you have these setting on field. Basically, whenever a Fluffal's destroyed, you can target one of your destroyed Fluffal monsters, add it to your hand, and draw a card. 3 Royal Decree, because this is an OTK deck, so back row hate is good hate. 1 Solemn Warning, 1 Torrential, and 1 Bottomless. Now for the extra deck, Frightfurs are Fluffals, Death Toys, Frightfurs. They're a deck that needs their extra deck. Needs. First up is Chimera, which requires 3 Frightfur monsters. When it attacks, your opponent can't activate card effects till end of damage step. And if it destroys a monster by battle, you special summon it to your side of the field, and its attack is halved. And each time it does this, it gains 300 attack. It gains 300 attack for each monster you have that is your opponent's. Next up is Fright for Leo. Leo is made by Edge Imp Saw and Fluffal, and when he is special summoned, you can target one face-up monster your opponent controls, destroy, and deal damage to your opponent equal to its attack. It's honestly your only real way of getting out stuff over 3 grand. He is at 28, so anything over that, it's a bitch, to say the least. He is your bread and butter when it comes to clearing the field. But other than that, that's his only real effect. Next is Fright for Bear. Fright for Bear, if you can get Fright for Bear out early enough and get it set up early enough, basically it's Edge Imp Sabers, Sabres, and Fluffal Bear. When this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, equip it to Bear, and Bear gains 1,000 attack. But Bear doesn't have a lot of protection. You could probably do a build around Bear and just keeping it alive and watching its attack go fucking sky high. And I don't think that'd be too bad. Next is Wolf. This is your bread and butter for OTK. Each fusion material, because it's Edge Imp Sabres and 1 or more Fluffal monster, and it is able to attack equal to the number of fusion materials used to summon it. So if our opening hand is, an Edge Imp Sabres, 3 Fluffals, and a Poly, and we do some bullshit to plus, you can attack 5 times for 10,000 damage if it's not stopped. That's why Royal Decree is so important, because it just wrecks shit. Next up is Fright for Sheep. If it's destroyed by battle, it has the same effect as Chimera, where if it attacks, nothing stops the attack. But if it's destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, or if it's in your possession and destroyed by card effect and sent to grave, you can special summon this card and it gains 800 attack. You can only use this effect of Fright for Sheep once per turn. So 2800, basically it's just a good way to keep board presence. It's the one that requires chain and then any fluffle. The only one that requires a specific fluffle is bear, and that needs bear. Other than that, that's pretty much it for the deck. I will have games up for it here shortly. Remember, if you enjoyed this, to rate the video, like the video, and subscribe. I will see you guys.